welcome to the Astro Forecast for the week of January 9th through the 15th. This is a week where we are feeling the momentum shift. Now, we've been in this kind of lovely little kind of incubation period, if you will, with Mars and Mercury retrograde. And I'm going to just urge you to think of this as like this really lovely time of reprieve, of introspection, introversion, maybe, where you're sort of thinking about your motivations, Mars, your passions, Mars, your egoic will forward, Mars, and your beliefs and values. Values being Venus, but not Venus is not retrograde, but has been kind of traveling with Mercury for part of that time. And Mercury retrograde being our beliefs. What are we believing? Why are we believing those? We're reviewing, reassessing, realigning with who we thought we were and what do we want now. So when you think about yourself into the future with what you want in 2023 and beyond, who do you have to be? What do you have to believe? What are the values that person has to have? What do you got to embody to then become that person that you're seeing down the line, right? So this time has been an incubation period. And I'm going to say by the end of this month and by January 22nd until April 21st, we're going to be off to the races. Like I literally saw Spirit go bang and the horses are off. Like you are going to be flying forward and you're literally going to be like running and picking up a kid and running and picking up a kid and like we don't have time, we gotta go like there's gonna be a lot of momentum at that time. I hope that doesn't feel overwhelming because it's exciting, right? You've been in this incubation period now, you've been birthing, you know, you're kind of like that caterpillar that's in that molten stage right now trying to figure out what's going to happen. We are birthing a whole new paradigm this year. So the last 3 years, if you think about it this way, it's kind of been like breaking up all of the old stuff, the way you used to think, the way you used to be, the way the world was on overdrive and hyper productivity. And what's going to come in 2024 and 2025 is big time shifts. This year alone, we're going to see 3 of the major outer planets moving into new signs, and then more in 2024. So, like, it's big. It's really big. And from an astrological standpoint, when these planets change signs, there is big movements and changes on this planet. This is real. We call that mundane astrology, when they look at the correlation between what's happening in the planets and what's happening on Earth, on, you know, in politics and geopolitical movements and movement of people, all of those things. So if you want to learn more about that, I highly recommend you sign up for my astrology for 2023, a look for the year ahead, so we can get kind of prepared for what's coming, because Pluto is going to be changing signs. This planet, Pluto, stays in a sign for 20 years. So when Pluto is going to move to that last, and call that the anaretic degree or critical degree, 29 degrees of Capricorn, it's going to sit there for like a month. And that is going to be a time of massive changes in the world. And then he's going to dip into Aquarius for a month or so, and then come back out again in retrograde. And then he's going to move all the way into Aquarius in 2024. That's big energy. That doesn't happen every 20 years. Pluto moves into a new sign, right? Think about that. In your lifetime, he will not go all the way around. You can't. We're not going to live that long, right? There's 12 signs of the zodiac. So at most, you might see him move through 5 or 6 signs if you move through a centenarian, I think it is, right? Over 100 years. So that's big. So this week, and you think about like every week leading up to it, it's a stepping stone on that path to this new paradigm that's coming in, right? And you are already in ascension. You are in the physical form. Your non-physical spirit chose to project itself into the physical so that you could go through changes, challenges, healing, expansion, and learning, right? This is the place to be. Not up there, not on the other side. This is the place to be. This is where the ascension is. You are ascending by being in the 3D. You're not trying to move into something else. The ascension is here. That's the fallacy. So we start off this week at a 3rd quarter phase, meaning the moon is losing light. So if you're feeling tired, if you're feeling like you don't have a lot to get up and go, You're not alone, right? And Monday, January 9th, we have a beautiful aspect of Venus trine to Mars retrograde. So Venus is in Aquarius now. We want to get along. We want to connect with people. We want to be there for others and be a champion for the underdog. And Mars retrograde in Gemini is we're still getting clear on what's our motivation, what's our passion, where are we going? But Venus now is we have people in our lives, relationships, Venus, money, relationships, money, beauty, aesthetic, and relationships are all Venus. So all of these things are coming together to help us understand our motivation. Like, for example, I always make great decisions when I have no money because I don't have the money to just throw on anything, right? So I'm like very clear and very precise with my money. And I'm like, hey, universe, I'm very good with my money when I have money too. And so I'm in this lovely lesson where I'm like, okay, let's see how good I can be now with this money that's coming in. I used to be really good with money. Really could have paid off so much debt, bought ourselves a house, and now we're in debt again. And I want to clear that. That's a big goal for me for 2023. So this is, for me, this would be an example of when I have money, I can be really good with it because my motivation now is how can I stretch it? How can I make it fit all the things that are really important to my values, which is my family, which is holidays, which are things that create stability in my life and not the books or the course or the clothes, which is what I normally spend them on. Right? So for you, this could look like what relationships help you to be the best possible you, right? Who are you coming, who is in your life, right? Or beauty standards. What are you really, provide? If you feel like you're not feeling good about yourself, then what decisions are you making that's in alignment to get you to where you want to go? Because 100% I know if you're here and you're watching this, you have the ability to shift your life. You do. And it's all about your beliefs and your values. And if you can act in accordance with your beliefs and your values, everything is possible. And I know what got you here isn't going to get you there, right? So great for dating, but don't commit to anything because Mars is still retrograde. So you're still learning here. You're always learning, really. But this is going to bring some new things to light when Mars goes direct. So don't be in a hasty, thing to be like, this is not my, please don't do that. You crave social connection, enjoy spending time with others in a meaningful way, great for creativity, companionship, great for relationships. Relationships can really flourish during this energy. Now, the next major aspect is Thursday, January 12th. Mars goes direct. Oh my goodness. Now, we're not out of the woods yet, y'all. Okay, we're not out of the woods yet. When a pendulum changes direction, I'm using a pendulum because it shows momentum. Right? When a pendulum sort of is swinging to its highest point, it almost appears to stand still and then it comes back down again, right? In retrograde, it's kind of the same thing. Really, retrograde planets are speeding up, slowing down, speeding up, slowing down. So when a planet is starting to pick up momentum, it's almost like the top of the pendulum, right? It's kind of standing still for a moment in time relative to the Earth. So it might be going the exact same speed around. It's sort of picking up its speed, if you will. At this time, it's a very sensitive time for us because it's called stationary direct or stationary retrograde. It appears to stand still. Obviously, it's not. And it's staying at the same degree of the zodiac for some time. Now, this Mars is going to be sitting at 8 degrees for some time. And it's going to be very intense when it sits at this 8-degree mark. It's actually going to be on this 8 degrees of Gemini for 24 days. 24 days. So that's intense because Mars will be sitting at that 8 degrees from January 1st to January 24th. But he's effectively going direct, or we call it stationary direct, on this day, January 12th. So this time frame is not going to be a time where you're feeling like anything's moving forward. It actually feels like nothing's moving forward. It feels like it's a time to still get clear on what your motivation is. What are your passions? What is happening for me now? Why? Why do I want it? Like, this would be a great time to do a vision board. This is a great time to do an unstuck class. This is a time I actually have a 5-day unstuck challenge that I purposely put in this time frame so that I could help you get unstuck from this energy. Because like I said, from about the 24th to the 24th of January to the 21st of April, we're going to be fast. everything's going to be going forward. All planets will be direct during that time. Very rare to have all the planets going direct. And when it happens, this is a time to do great things, y'all. So this Mars direct at 8 degrees of Gemini, but it will be retro shade until the 15th of March, and then it'll move into Cancer on the 26th of March. And this is not a great place for Mars to be. Mars doesn't really like being in Cancer. It's considered a fall, or it's like it's not happy there, right? Because there's a lot of feeling, and he wants to move forward. He doesn't want to be feeling everything, so it's going to be some time before, when Mars moves into Leo eventually, that's when we're going to feel really the momentum kind of picking up. Interestingly enough, that'll be around the time that planets are starting to go retrograde again. Mercury will go retrograde at that time. So this is the time to really use that retro shade. Why we're so long in that retro shade period is to, what did you learn? You're going to get tested, right? What did you learn? So we are re-examining how we do things and why we do things. Now, when you move forward, you're moving forward with a new awareness. You're overcoming roadblocks. You're forging ahead. So you are very different than before this started, which was in January. No, that's not right. October 30th. That is when Mars has been retrograde since October. A long time. So what did you learn? What has been different? I can bet you from October 30th to now, you are not the same person. You have come through massive realizations over the holidays and in your life of what you really want and why you want it. I know I have, and I can say without a doubt, every single person I've talked to has shifted from October 30th to now in terms of their motivation, their desires, and what they want in their life. And this can be sexuality. This can feel like it's to do with your egoic will. So it can be like things that bring you security, things that really like bring you identity, right? That's ego, is going to have shifted. And for the better, for the better. Now, Mercury is still retrograde, y'all. So it's not time to like, oh, be frivolous and go, yeah, I can do all the things. Moving forward with awareness, always, of course, always, but now with newfound awareness. So you really aren't going to see the momentum really pick up until after about the 24th, 22nd, and then it's going to go fast. Now, Friday, January 13th, we have the Sun trine to Neptune. This is a really lovely aspect for intuitive downloads, intuition, intuitive downloads, creativity, connection, meditation, spirituality, sensitive, creative, intuitive, great for imagination, valuable insights into the future, because Neptune is very visionary, very futuristic. Compassion and empathy, great for healing. It's a great time to go for therapy or a healing modality or a workshop in healing. You think you can do a lot today, don't overdo it because of some of the aspects to the moon. And this is a great day to turn dreams into reality. This is a time when you're starting to think about, how can I apply what I know in my heart, what my soul is telling me, and start to put that into direction in my life. Now, Saturday, January 14th, we have the hardest aspect for this week, I would say, and it's Venus square to Uranus. So Venus is about our relationships, what we love and value, our beauty and aesthetic, money. And Uranus is change. It is chaos. It is the great awakener, right? Evolution. So it's trying to change things up, shake things up for you to see what you want and what you don't want. So relationships could have a bit of a rocky day during this day. And even I would say Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, right? This aspect is going to be a little bit intense. Now, Uranus is still retrograde. So it's bringing up your values. It's bringing up what is really keeping you secure. What are you holding on to for security that isn't really giving you security? So this could bring up some things in relationships where you feel like you're being challenged, or that you're being repressed, or you feel like you don't have the freedom. Venus is in Aquarius. It needs freedom. It needs ability to express itself and learn through doing. They're experiential beings, Aquarians, right? You can't tell them this is how it is. They're like, screw you. I'm going to figure it out for myself. And they're like, oh yeah, that is how it is. Or, I showed you different. It can be other ways, right? So they learn through experience. So this is going to be a challenge to the stability of relationships. monies and the things you value. Today, you could get an extra bill. Today, you could get a little, especially because of Mars going direct, stationary direct all this week, you might get an expensive bill for your car. So be careful with your car this week as well, because Mars rules cars. So take your time, go slow, don't rush, and really make sure you walk around your car before you get in it to make sure your tires are all inflated and you're not catching something that you don't want to be catching on the road later. So just have that awareness around your car. Not a good time to make drastic changes in your appearance, because Venus, you're wanting to do something different. Later, you're like, why did I cut my hair and dye it green? I shouldn't have done that. This could happen on this day. Unexpected events, increased need for freedom. You may be frustrated with your finances. Brings cracks to the surface to be healed, or for things to fall apart in relationships. The stock market may not do well on this day. So don't do any big trades or big investments on this day. It's not a good day to do that. Not good for any investments or big purchases. And a change is inevitable. Beware of impulsive buying on this day. So this is going to be a very interesting week. And remember, we are setting ourselves up for next week, which we have a brilliant new moon in Aquarius. The sun will be moving into Aquarius. And then right at the beginning of Aquarius, we have a new moon. So this is interesting because this is one of 4 new moons at the very first or beginning degrees of a sign. That doesn't happen very often. That means as a collective, we are learning to do new things. We are learning to be in a new way. We are birthing something new as a collective. We are all going through this moon, right? So these 4 moons being at the very first degrees of a sign is going to be interesting, because it is another kind of flag, if you will, that we are moving into a new time. And then next week, Mercury goes direct as well. And we have lots of changes coming up. So take this time to really reflect and be in this movement, this area of time where you just get to be right now, because lots of things are coming up from within you. Your soul is speaking to you. And if you're just allowing yourself to listen, to really get clear and be quiet and hear what's coming up, you will find the coming months are going to be much easier to flow with. If you are all outside yourself, thinking you got to be shooting yourself all over the place, you're going to miss some big things and you're going to feel overwhelmed with the months ahead. So if you like some support with that, I urge you to come into my Unstuck Challenge. It's a 5-day free challenge on Instagram and Facebook. Comes with a guidebook and hypnosis. I'd love to support you to really get unstuck in your life from my heart to yours. And if you want to know more about the astrology aspects that are coming up in 2023, I have a workshop coming up at the end of this month. I think it was on the 27th of January, where you can learn all about the aspects for 2023 and to get clear and really get ready for what's coming. Because to be forewarned is to be forearmed. And we are here navigating the weather, astro weather, the astro forecast, and you are in it with me. We are in it together, right? We're all in this collective together. And the more we can see the opportunities for these shifts, the better it will be for all of us. Wishing you a wonderful week ahead. Take care.